please. Jason, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Victor, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Father God in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful, windy day, God, that you've given us. We thank you for everything, Lord. We ask that your perfect will be done tonight, Lord, in the public hearing and throughout the meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Nita, roll call, please.
Counselor Foster,
I'm back.
Counselor Lorenz,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Here.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Counselor Locke is excused for this evening and a quorum is declared.
Do we have any modifications to the agenda?
Yes, sir. We have two modifications to the agenda. The first modification would be to remove N4, which is staff proposals for recreation. The other modification is to, we're asking for the agenda to be amended to table H1, the public hearing. It has been brought to our attention that there is some confusion with the letter that was sent out to property owners. Planning and Zoning was a 3-member board and met on October 28, 2021 and recommended a rezoning to a residential medium density. And this was what was stated in the letter to the property owners. The Planning and Zoning was then reconfigured to a 5-member board and met at a work session on April 28, 2022 to bring the new board members up to date on the rezoning. It was pointed out at the work session that the rezoning should be west half residential low density and east half residential medium density to match the zoning that's directly below the proposed rezoning. So the recommendation memo to council was for a split rezoning. So after speaking with the city attorney, Mr. Trujillo, and to make sure that the city is completely transparent as possible, we are asking for the public hearing to be tabled until further discussion with legal counsel.
I would move to approve the modifications to the agenda.
Wait, I'm sorry, Council, I've also got one addition I'd like to add for discussion. And this would be the READY grant, which stands for Rural Economic Development Initiative. And that's through the Department of Local Affairs. And I need your approval before it can be submitted.
Okay. I would move to approve the modifications to the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the modifications to the agenda for removing N4, tabling the public hearing until council, right?
Correct. Further discussion with legal counsel.
Okay, and the other one, I'm sorry,
Ready grant.
that Ready grant, and where are we putting that one?
Sorry. L2.
L2 is fine.
Yeah, 2 contracts.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the modifications to the agenda. Is there any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Foster,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to modify the agenda, removing N4, tabling H1, and adding L2.
Okay. Approval of consent agenda, minutes of regular meeting from April 21st, 2022, and review and approval of accounts payable.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda for minutes of regular meeting from April 21st, 2022, and review and approval of accounts payable. Is there any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Foster,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we'll go to proclamations, communications, and appointments. And we have several. Okay.
We need to take a break, pass one down.
Let's do that. You can have one?
Okay.
You can have one? Jason can have one. All right, we'll start with National Police Week. National Police Week 2022. To recognize National Police Week 2022 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Monte Vista Police Department. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 23,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., whereas 619 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 472 officers killed in 2021 and 147 officers killed in previous years. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half staff. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Monte Vista City Council will observe May 11th through 17th, 2022 as National Police Week in the City of Monte Vista and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. Done this 19th day of May, 2022.
Right. National Public Works Week Proclamation, May 15 through 21, 2022. Theme is Ready and Resilient. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, emergency management, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Monte Vista, state of Colorado, and whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are federally mandated first responders and the engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, parks, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to our citizens. And where it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and the children of City of Monte Vista to gain knowledge and maintain ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works first responders and public works programs in the respective communities, and whereas the year 2022 marks the 62nd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association, be it now resolved, Dale Becker, Mayor, do hereby designate the week May 15 through 21, 2022 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Done this day, the 19th of May, 2022.
All right, Victor.
Proclamation Teacher Appreciation Week, May 2nd through May 6th, 2022. Whereas through their dedicated efforts to ensure our children learn the knowledge and skills needed to be successful in higher education, careers, and life, teachers are vital in helping build the future. And whereas our country's future depends on providing quality education to all students, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service, and whereas teachers play a crucial role in shaping our children into people they will become, supporting them through their youth and teaching lessons that will have an impact on students they will carry through life. And whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community. And now therefore, Dale Becker, Mayor, the City of Monte Vista, hereby proclaims May 2nd through May 6th, 2022 as Teacher Appreciation Week. And on behalf of the City of Monte Vista City Council, extend appreciation to all of the teachers at Marsh Elementary, Bill Metz Elementary, Monte Vista Middle School, Monte Vista High School, the Byron Searing Delta Center, and Kids Connection. And also to all teachers at private and home schools.
All right, Jason?
Proclamation, 53rd Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, May 1st through May 7th. I hope you had a good week.
Thank you.
Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among the public servants. And whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now therefore, Dale Becker, Mayor, City of Monte Vista, do recognize the week of May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Unita Vance, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated 19th day of May, 2022.
And while we're out at that point, with National Public Works Week and Professional Municipal Clerks Week, thank you guys for what you do. National Police Week. National Police Week. Appreciate it.
And teachers with Anika.
And the teacher.
Thank you, Nika.
Okay, one more. Tree City, USA. Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling cost, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Dale Becker, Mayor of the City of Monte Vista, do hereby proclaim May 12, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Monte Vista, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generation. Dated this 19th day of May, 2022.
Nice.
And we had a good Arbor Day. Rob?
Yes, sir. Good one. We had students from preschool and kindergarten from Marsh Elementary attend. It was really good.
Good. Very good.
Possible to add one more? Because I noticed that Larry has a St. Louis t-shirt on, and they're playing the Avs, and the Avs are up 1-0.
I know.
If we could recognize the avalanche. Don't recognize it. It's all right, Larry.
It's all good. It's all good, you know.
It was a good season.
We got into overtime last game.
Yeah.
Tonight,
You got yours? Thank you, sir.
Quite welcome.
All right. We will move on to citizen comments.
I volunteer.
City Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at this same meeting. Please
Awesome.
state your name and be sure and write it on that list there, sir.
My name is Tim Cantrell. I'm a new resident to Monte Vista. Bought a house about 2 years ago. All right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. So I did some things that were probably not correct, but it was something I was just excited to do. The fire that took place, kind of inspired me. I was talking on our Monte Vista Facebook page. I forget which one I was talking on. We have 2 of them. But in any case, what I was just making a comment on is that in Germany, we on our parade fields, it was taken care of by goats. They came in and they ate the grass, and we never mowed anything. The goats took care of it all. And what was exciting is when I had brought that up, White Shell Mountain Ranch made a comment that they had goats available for eating grass and stuff like that. And I thought, well, hey, that's really awesome. And then I was invited to being a member of Optimistican, which is really an exciting club to be involved in here in Monte Vista and helping businesses and doing events and volunteering and all of that, which I'm just so excited to be able to be involved with. It's awesome. So they just happened to be at Cinco de Mayo this last Thursday or week before last, and it was awesome that we got to see the goats and everything, and that was really cool. Well, what was on my mind during that time frame, and I had made this mentioned on the Facebook thing, so I was kind of held accountable to what I had said, was that I was going to write to the owner of this property that had all this weeds all over. It just really kind of makes it look kind of ugly and everything. And I have this Hunter X app on my phone that kind of tells me if I'm on a private property and just stay off of it, if you're hunting animals or hiking, that you're not on somebody else's property. And so I just looked on there and it told me the address, the tax address to the owner. So I sent a nice, kind letter and told him about the goat company, and I told him I'd volunteer to pay for it myself if that was what it took. No big deal, It was just that I really liked the old trains over there, and I didn't know who the actual owner was, but he would make himself known later, and so he actually responded and called me, and he said his name was Don Shanks. and he owned the property, and he was really interested in going through the goat people, and he had went ahead and contacted them and made arrangements already, and he's going to have them come over and take care of it on the 24th of this month, and we won't see all those weeds over there anymore. And I just thought that was so totally awesome, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. And and if you just want to put the goats down, I would love to introduce the owner and Inspiration and what he's doing at our next meeting, with your permission. But that you can't make a decision on maybe now. But I just wanted you to know that, and I'm just excited. They're going to be here tomorrow as well. They're going to have their goats for petting over at the festival we're having tomorrow afternoon from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's the, gosh, man, my mind just wipes. It's the art walk that's taking place. Adams will be closed, and I think the goats will be over there. And they're saying that the reason why they have the goats is so the kids can get used to the people. It's because when the goats are out eating, they're actually user friendly. They're not going to be running, charging, and butting people and hurting people. What's also exciting about the goats is they're an answer to a sustainable, practical situation. I brought it up to the Rio Grande County Commissioner and what he had thought about it, and he thought it was just awesome. It was a great thing. And I said, yeah, because the county has a lot of problems out there. Now you have to put some goats on it, and it's done. It's a done deal, and we don't have to pay employees. We don't have to pay insurance. We don't have to worry about using combustibles, electricity. Anyone wants to say we're saving power, well, we're using the power to eat it up. So anyway, wish you well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I got to go home and take care of my wife, so she's disabled, and I don't want you all thinking I'm being rude by leaving.
Very nice.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, guests. My name is Raina Boucher, and I've been considering a better way to get involved some of the ways in the city, but I keep thinking I don't know when anything happens, and I mean, that's not true. I can call City Hall, I can ask, I can do whatever, but I can log on to your website, and I can kind of find out. But every day I go to work and I do a number of things, and as probably your other 4,000 citizens in town, you do the same thing. You get involved. And where do we end up most days, most of us? On Facebook. So what I'd like to suggest, and it's really been urged, the last 9 months, the Planning and Zoning has been talking about this hearing that was coming up tonight, and now it's postponed. But had I known specifics, I did get a letter. It was pretty vague as to what was going to happen, and I realized, in the beginning they probably didn't know exactly what was happening. But over the months, it has gotten more detail, and really, as of March, I became more about it, and we go on. But it's my own fault. I get it. I don't call. I don't go to your website very often, but I do go to Facebook, and so. If you all could consider on your Facebook page, nothing big, but maybe you could put out a monthly calendar or a bi-weekly calendar or a weekly calendar of all the upcoming work sessions, city council meetings, etc., that are on there, and then just maybe remind people that they can always go to the agenda to look at what's going on as well. It would start reminding people that here it is, if they have an interest, they could get involved. And so that you don't get all these comments, negative and all that stuff. You don't have to go into detail, just a calendar would be good. And you could actually turn off comments on that and just show them the calendar that's upcoming. But I think if we're truly wanting more participation from the citizens in Monte Vista, it might be helpful to put that information out where people get their information from. And I ended that in a preposition, and I shouldn't have. But at any rate, that's a recommendation I would have to the city. if you could do that, I think it would help everybody a lot to be more involved about what's coming up. And then we don't get involved at the very last minute after decisions are made and go, oh, but wait a minute, I don't like this, or I really like this. So we could get involved back at the beginning so we had an input. We don't have a lot of hubbub. So just something for you guys to consider. I'd appreciate it.
Thanks, Rena.
Awesome.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Ken Hamko. I'm speaking for the Citizens Action Network, the Optimistics, and just want to bring you up to date on an exciting project that we're doing. You already know about it because we brought it to you. It's the bicycle racks. So we are on bicycle rack number 4 and 5 that are being painted and will be installed here shortly. One will be installed, I believe, at the skate park, and the other out in front of Rainbow. We just commissioned our artist to do a rather large one that's a little more sturdy that will be out in front of Safeway. And that's going to be actually 3 sponsors will be involved in that. So we're moving along. And then last night I had dinner at Quincy's, and somebody had a bicycle built for 2 attached to our bicycle rack. So I took a picture of it so everybody could see it. Anyways, so it's just a project that we're working on, and I wanted to bring you up to date on where we are on it. And we continue to look for sponsors to get more bike racks around town. And that way, I think encouraging people to ride their bike around Monte Vista.
Nice.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Any other citizen comments? Margot, don't fail me.
Hello, everybody. I'm Margot, and I love coming to these to find out what the city is up to. And I just wanted to say, I was at the Arbor celebration, and what a terrific, wonderful thing that was. There were about 48 little kids, the little ones, and you gave a nice little talk. Rob gave a little talk about Arbor Day, and the kids are listening and learning. And it was so exciting that the teachers and the kids just ate it up. And what was so cool, once the tree was planted, and the gentlemen who did all the digging, and God help them, it's a big hole to dig for those trees. The children got to throw some dirt in that hole as they made a line, and they all there was community participation, and it was just a delight to see. So whoever got it all started, Mr. Rob, thank you. It was a delight.
Nice.
Thank you, Margot. Any other citizen comments?
Hi, Dale.
Hey, Marie.
So my name is Marie McCollum, and I just wanted to come up to thank the city so much for everything that you have done for the victims that suffered all of their loss when the fire happened. I think it's really important for somebody to say something about that, just because there's been so much negative feedback, and I know the city doesn't even have to help those people, and you love those people, and that's why you genuinely want to do good for them. I'm sorry I'm a little emotional about it because I've been a little bit upset about it for a while, but you are just doing awesome, and you did so good for them, and I think there should be more appreciation for all of you because of that. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Marie.
Absolutely.
Any other citizen comments? Okay, we'll go to scheduled appearances. In order to be included on this portion of the agenda, you have to fill out the appropriate paperwork with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. City of Monte Vista Fire Ban. Who's doing that one?
So we just wanted to bring it to your attention that at the last meeting of the 3rd April meeting, you all put a fire ban in within the city limits for 30 days. And so we didn't know if you wanted to extend it, if you wanted it to dissolve, or,
We will declare another 30 days.
okay, you're gonna need to take a vote, please.
Mayor has, actually, he gets to declare it. They
On
don't- you don't
the
have-
fire ban, I can declare it, so
Okay,
at least another 30 days
okay.
with all the risk and everything I've seen.
And from what I understand from Chief Dingfelder, we have issued some tickets to people, and one citizen that did not want to put out their fire, we called the fire department and they extinguished it, so.
You get a picture?
Send him a bill.
And it still includes gas grills and,
Gas grills are okay, but no charcoal or no open fire, no wood fire pits, but gas grills are,
Fireworks.
yes.
and I believe that was pretty well clarified in, we had an article, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
So we probably better run that again to make sure, but, I mean, I don't wanna play this game again.
No, and Fire Chief Sullivan was in the office today, and the fire at the sand dunes started from a lightning strike.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we get the lightning and we don't even get the benefit of the rain.
Hope this weekend we get some.
Okay, discussion on city attorney. Mrs. Santee.
Can I just stand here?
No, ma'am, I would like for you to go,
Thank you.
please.
You know me and rules. I'm not very good at them. My name is Cheryl Santee, and my husband, Dr. Santee, and I have lived in this community for over 45 years. We've been very involved. We've invested a lot. We sent our kids to school here, and we love living here. This is a really tough thing for me because I've been Gene's neighbor for 40-some years, and I respect him very much. I think he is an outstanding citizen. I know what he's done in the Green Beret and all the wonderful things he's done. But I also feel that it is going to be a mistake, and I don't understand how this came about, that after letting Gene go, after 30 years, that you rehire him and have it that Michael had to reapply for the job when he was never informed of anything that he done wrong. This does not really make much sense to me, and after being here for as long as I have been, I think we have made more progress in the last 5 years than we had in a long time. I've been before City Council on numerous occasions, and it was not always very easy to get things done. In fact, I'm sure Raina even remembers as well as Gene, when we tried to do something as simple as build a subway, and it was a major deal just to get a subway on a weeded lot that was producing no money. I mean, we need some different things going on here. And I don't understand why the City Council, after doing this, changed their mind. I don't think it's due diligence, because that is not due diligence, in my estimation. The other thing is, I don't know how many people have read this, Justice Denied. Have you all read it?
Derailed.
Or Derailed, or Denied. It's an interesting read. And during Gene's time here, as city attorney, there were a lot of things that went on, especially in the court and the judge for the city, did many things that was not acceptable to the people that went before them. And it wasn't just here in Monte Vista, it was also in Alamosa. And the ACLU, because of, pardon? Because of them not taking care of the issues of our attorney at that time, Mr. Powell. He did not treat these people decently. He did not, there was no justice, and there were people going to jail for weeks on misdemeanors. They had no rights. They were treated probably worse than our new district attorney is doing things. And because of that, we had hundreds of thousands of dollars in litigation and fines that we had to pay for this. And our city doesn't have that kind of money, and I don't think we need that kind of a reputation, and I don't think we need to go backwards. I think that we need to reconsider what you guys have done. I have no idea. There seems no justification to me for why you did it. And if you say due diligence, as I said, that doesn't make sense. I hope it's not politics, because we definitely don't need that here. We've been a great community, and as a citizen of this community, someone who's invested a lot of money, and sometimes with Michael and Linda Tree Hill, as he's invested a lot of money in this community also, I feel that we want to go forward, and I don't think we need to go backward. Just my opinion. I think you guys should reconsider what you have thought of, and I think it's important, if you have not read this, that you know what it's about. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Wastewater rate increase proposal. Mr. Dance.
Good evening, council. We've done this as a combined thing, but I just want to start before we get into this, so council fully understands that if things that you don't like in my presentation, you have the ability to pull the resolution, okay? So in here, as you know, we've had 2 public meetings to discuss the rates and the issues, and we've had several meetings prior to those to discuss the actual, what was going on in our wastewater plant. So I'll just read this for the audience's benefit. The city has been out of compliance for slightly over a year and have steadily been working with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to try to produce a remedy to our being out in our metals compliance. From those discussions, it's become abundantly clear that a new wastewater facility is necessary to meet the increased requirements set forth by both the EPA and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. The city and our consulting engineers, Element Engineering, have applied to USDA for funding. We are still waiting for notice of funding from the USDA, but recognize that we do need to start the process of rate increases in order to meet the upcoming debt that will be required to fund a new facility and to decommission 2 existing wastewater facilities. As part of the process, the city has hosted 2 public meetings to discuss the idea and to actually discuss the need for the rate increase. Those meetings were held on April 5th, 2022 as an open house, and again on April 21, 2022 as part of the regular city council meeting. In each meeting, residents were able to discuss the project and express ideas and/or concerns over the project. In each meeting, the city stressed the fact that this is not a want, but a requirement that we have to address. In each of those meetings, we used a formula of annual increases to adjust rates to what we believe they will be, using a 40%, 60% split between grant and loan funding. We also discussed that the rate increases would take place over the next 3 or 4 years, with a final adjustment to be made in the final year to reflect the exact cost, whether that's up or down, for the full funding after the full funding has been secured by both grants and loan proceeds. As it currently stands, staff is requesting council to approve an annual increase as follows. The existing monthly sewer rates within the city, the base rate is $18.39. Usage charge per 1,000 gallons is $3.90, and out of city would be $20.40 and $7.80 for usage, to a new rate as of the June billing for a base rate of $30.65 in city. Usage rates would increase from $3.90 to $4.60. Out of city rates would go to $34 for base rates and $9.20 for usage rates. New rates in June of 2023, base rate would increase to $42.91. Usage rate would go to $5.30. Out of city would be $47.60, and usage rate of $10.60. And then the final adjustment would be in June of 2024, where the base rate in city would move to $55.17, usage charge of $6, and then out of city rates would be $61.20 and $12 per 1,000 gallons of usage. I guess open it up to council, that if you have any questions or concerns. I don't think anybody likes this idea, but what we need to start moving. So state has mandated, and as you all know, we have been fined, and we are in the process of working through the fine from the the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. As long as we continue to move forward, we won't face any further fines, but if we stop the process, we will. We will continually have more and more fines. And the simple truth for all of the public that's here, lagoon systems cannot treat the metals that the EPA has imposed on our receiving streams. So they've changed the requirements of the Rio Grande and made it more stringent, and a lagoon system simply can't do that. It is nothing that we are doing from an operational standpoint that we can adjust and we can change. We need to add a mechanical component where we can simply take that metal out of the equation. So it is what it is. We are expecting a total bill of $30 million. That includes the construction of a new plant, decommissioning of 2 old plants, the veterans in the Henderson plant, plus running a new force main from veterans back down to the Henderson plant. We can't, and that would save everybody that lives along Sherman and out on Pine and Mesa from having to redo their entire sewer system. So it is not an ideal situation, but it is the best that we can come up with. We're still waiting on USDA to give us our letter of offer, so we don't know what that grant loan combination is going to look like. We will, of course, once we do know that and know the rules as far as what types of grants we can apply for, we will pursue every avenue to try to reduce the amount of loan that we absolutely need. And therefore we can adjust, hopefully, down that ending rate in 2024. That's the goal. So, but this way it's out in front for everybody to know. Got several years, a few years to look at it and to evaluate.
Is there money available in that infrastructure bill that was passed?
There is some. Those are grants that we can apply for. We are going. They don't know exactly how they're using the bill, the BIL. They don't know exactly what they're doing with it yet. The money's out there. They are offering grants. We don't know how much, and we don't know the rules that will follow as to what USDA will put on there as far as requirements. Sometimes when you do a grant, it takes away from your loan. Sometimes if you do a grant, they automatically reduce your eligibility for a loan. So you have to be really careful in that process of how you move forward. So the first thing that we need is to have the letter first and foremost, but we as a city, we need to adjust rates so we can start building that nest egg so we can make that debt service payment. Debt service for 30 million, and if it's less than that, that's great. But we're looking at 60% of that cost being loan. So it is not a fun idea, but it is it is our reality.
These were all the numbers that we've discussed over the last.
These are everything that's been presented as they've been presented. So I took them exactly the way they are. Had a little meltdown a couple days ago, but yeah, we are good. So, and council, if you want, in your packet is resolution 2022-06, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado, approving the rate increase to the customers of this Monte Vista Sewer Enterprise Fund, whereas the City Council recognizes that the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment and the Environmental Protection Agency has placed requirements on our discharge permit that our existing wastewater facilities cannot meet. And whereas the City Council recognizes the importance of being in compliance with all requirements and the importance of protecting our discharge receiving streams, and whereas the City Council understands that building a new wastewater treatment facility will require outside funding sources that will create a debt service for the city's sewer enterprise fund. This debt service payment is beyond what our existing rate structure can provide for. Payment of the debt service will require an increase in the sewer rate structure, and whereas the City Council believes that incremental annual increases are better for the community than a single large increase, and now therefore let it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Monte Vista. The City Council adopts the following sewer rate increase schedule to be implemented annually on the June billing cycle through June 2024. I can read the rates if you would like. Monthly base rates in city would move from $18.39 to this year $30.65, with an out of city rate of $34. Again, in June of 2023, the base rate would increase to $42.91. Out of city rates would increase to $47.60. And then in 2024, the base rate would increase to $55.17, and out of city rates $61.20. Likewise, the usage rates would also increase from their existing $3.90 this year to the June billing of $4.60 for in-city rates. Out of city rates $9.20. 2023 June usage rates will then increase to $5.30 in city rates, and out of city rates would be $10.60. Likewise, June 2024 in city usage rates would increase to $6, and out of city usage rates would adjust to $12 per 1,000 gallons. Done and signed this 19th day of May 2022. So if council's acceptable of this, I would need a motion to adopt resolution 2022-06.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-06, raising the wastewater rates as read.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 2022-06, Resolution of the City Council of the City of Monte Vista approving the rate increase to the customers of the Monte Vista Sewer Enterprise Fund. Is there any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve Resolution 2022-06, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado, approving the rate increase to the customers of the City of Monte Vista Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Rob.
I guess the next one is mine as
City
well.
cleanup days, yes, sir.
We talked at the last council meeting that I would bring a proposal to you guys. We normally have our cleanup days in the month of May, kind of try to tie it into Pirate Pride Day, but of course that did not happen. And with the fire, my staff is literally about 3 weeks behind where we should be. So I would like to request to council and propose September 23rd and 24th of this year as the days that we accept and do our city cleanup days. A lot of citizens have been asking for that and kind of want to know a date. We don't encourage people to save their stuff, but a lot of folks do. So this way they would know what to expect to come. It would give us and my crews time to actually organize and get all the outside vendors like the landfill and waste management, the different trash haulers to all participate in the activity. And it is a day and a half of serious work for my crew. So, if that's acceptable to council. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. All right, recognition and appreciation of for Michael Trujillo. So Mike, I have something here for you. And I just want to tell you I appreciate you coming in and taking you right out of the pan and throwing you into the fire when we ask you to step up and help us out for the time that you've been here in the service. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much for what you've done. So I have a plaque here for you.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to meet me halfway here. Just a small token of appreciation. Thank you so much for everything. Turn around here so you can get your picture. It's not much, Mike. But there's a lot of heart behind that little thing right there, let me tell you. All right. Looks like we are gonna move right down to contracts, agreements, and leases. Municipal judge contract.
So, do you want to officially make the announcement that we're not gonna do the public hearing that's next on the agenda,
Oh,
please?
yeah.
Just in
Okay,
case
so-
people wanna leave.
So, public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission, for the 200 block that everybody's aware of, between Broadway and Monroe, the lots of the west side of Adams is recommended to be rezoned. So we have tabled that discussion until you have time for legal counsel. Okay, so that one will not be this evening. So stay tuned, we'll get it on the calendar for the future. Now, we'll move to municipal judge contract. Who's doing that one?
I guess I am.
Would you like to do that, TJ?
Yeah. So you all have the contract agreement for Barbara Zollers to continue on as our municipal judge. This would take effect January the 1st, June the 1st, and is a 2-year contract, so it would go until May the 31st of 2024. There really aren't any differences than what her previous contract was. She did not ask for an increase in compensation. It is $24,000 a year in monthly installments of $2,000 twice a month. She's an independent contractor. She asked that the city agree to indemnify and hold harmless the judge against any and all claims or liabilities that may be asserted or claims by any person, firm, or entity arising out of or in connection with the work, operations, and activities of a judge within the course and scope of her employment hereunder, but nothing herein shall require the city to indemnify the judge for liability arising from her own negligence. I can go read through the rest of it if you'd like, but Barb was here earlier, but she snuck out, so didn't know if you had any questions.
Didn't we already approve all this? We just need to sign it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on it? Okay. Thank you. You got your Ready grant up there?
Sure. So the READY grant stands for Rural Economic Development Incentives. And it's a grant through the Department of Local Affairs. And what we were asking is for them to analyze the ongoing maintenance and operational costs of Sky High Park, the benefit of and how, what other uses could be of the Valley Theater, if our community could support another hotel, and to maybe take into consideration some of the annexation for the future. I didn't realize until I got through it all that you guys have to say yes, and that you know that I'm applying for it. I have to peek at my notes because I forgot it was next. I'll tell you how much it's going to cost. So the full cost of the request is $38,000. Of that, we're requesting $26,000 for DOLA to pay, and the city's portion would be $12,000. And I think that this is going to be really valuable information for us to look at as we're balancing, using the Sky High as an event center as well as roping in the recreational aspect. It's going to give us a better sense of the FTE or full-time equivalent personnel that we're going to need out there, and then as well as look at what else the Valley Theater could be turned into. As you may recall, we did do a work session over the theater. We've got interested people who would like to purchase it, and then we've got the group of volunteers that are creating a nonprofit. And so regardless of what the city decides, if you want to sell it as an asset to a private entity, I think that this information will be valuable for whoever takes it over, so that we know kind of what the city's expectation is into the future.
Make a motion to approve Gigi applied for the READY grant. as described.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve Gigi applying for the Ready Grant. Is there any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries for the approval for Gigi Dennis to apply for the Ready Grant.
And since I'm up here, I'd like, it's not on the agenda, and I don't see that where Rob was going to announce it, but since we've got such a nice full audience, I'm just very tickled that Rob applied for a multimodal transportation grant. It's through CDOT. It was 100% awarded. There is no local match. It's for a little over $1.8 million. And it will be to have sidewalks from basically the railroad tracks on 160 by the Alta station, go east through town, all the way out to Sky High. And that is just, yeah. That amount of money for this community is outstanding, and it's something that we probably would have never even put on a wish list because there's just other priorities, and so we got it. So they'll start planning that, and then construction likely next year. And then in addition, we had talked about that we had applied for a grant to replace and make improvements along Washington Street for the 3-block area. We got a rejection letter, so we can't win them all. But right now, we're still batting pretty good. So.
That's awesome, though. Good job, Rob.
Yeah.
Anita, are you on the?
No, but you're gonna hear a lot of my stuff next time.
Yeah, we didn't put Anita on to do finances this time because our next meeting, you'll get to hear from the auditor, and then you'll get all the other financial stuff. So you'll get walloped at our next meeting.
Okay. Very good. I just want to make
Really
sure.
busy with numbers. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you. I miss you so many times that I feel bad if I don't. At least ask. All right, we'll move to staff proposals, reports, and actions. Honor tour, Rob?
One more time. So, another good thing that Monte Vista technically officially on the map, or at least a map. So, Monte Vista's Memorial Park was officially chosen for the 2022 Colorado Tour of Honor Motorcycle Ride. This is a thing put on throughout the entire nation, proudly sponsored by Abby Spedit of Garden City, Colorado. What it is it's an effort for folks that ride motorcycles and tour to come and visit the different memorial parks throughout the state of Colorado and the nation, to just pay homage to those that have sacrificed everything. As most of you or all of you know, Faith Hinckley was a member of our community that lost her life in the war, and we dedicated in her name the memorial park, but also to honor all servicemen and women that have served and those that have given their life. So I'm really proud that we were chosen to be a site. We were one of 7 sites in the state of Colorado. The other 6 are Blackhawk, Durango, Estes Parks, Hugo, Keensburg, and Springfield. And the idea is you go and you tour each of those 7 sites, and you take a picture at the beginning of where the memorial park is, and then you submit it to these folks, and the first 3 get an award, 10 get flags, and then everybody else that comes after that then gets recognition through this organization. So It's a pretty cool thing. So we'll be having a lot of motorcycle traffic come through our city this year. So.
Awesome. Council information, you need it.
Good evening, Council. So just a few things that we wanted to remind you of. The CRHDC ribbon cutting is going to be on June 9th at the Tierra del Sol, and they've invited for council to be there. That is for the ribbon cutting for the filing 2 of Tierra del Sol.
And what's the date?
That is June 9th at 11 a.m. And I can send you all that, forward you all that email as well. Also wanted to find out the outreach meeting on May 24th in Alamosa for the CML. Martha Locke has signed up for it, and just wanted to check and see if any of the rest of you would like to sign up for that outreach meeting. It is a 6 o'clock evening meeting, and if you're interested, if you'll just shoot me an email or text or call me and let me know, and I will get you registered for that outreach meeting.
What's the date on that one?
May 24th. And then the last thing we wanted to bring up is your July 21st meeting falls on the day of the Stampede concert. So we are looking for direction if you would still like to hold that council meeting or if we need to notice it as being canceled.
I know that I have obligations that night and will not be able to attend. But everybody else can talk without me.
The party's not going to be here. We can talk about that the first meeting, right? June.
Yeah, you can talk about it the first meeting in June is fine. We just would like some notice that we can get it out to the public that if it's going to be canceled.
Okay. Thank you, Anita. It's time for our superhero, Kids Connection.
Good evening, Council. I don't have any major updates for you other than we survived the school year. Today was the last day of our after-school program. We are closed next week for summer staff training, and then we will open on May 31st for our first day of the summer program. And it has come really quick. So at June's meeting, I plan to have the new summer hires and the new staff member, after school staff member here to meet you guys. But we did, I can't even remember the last time that I was here, but Madison Miller is no longer with us. And Crystal Hayes is no longer with us. They were 2 of our after-school staff members. We did replace one position, and Jacob Mestis is a new youth leader for the after-school program. I believe he was a 2020 graduate of Del Norte High School. So he lives in Monte Vista and grew up in Monte Vista, but attended high school in Del Norte. So he's very familiar with most of the kids in our community. And so he's had 3 weeks under his belt, and he's still with us. So right now I'm just in a crazy crunch trying to get summer planned, make sure I have everything ready to go. I just realized that I still need to completely put together the menus for the breakfast and lunch schedule and get all that food ordered next week. So I just don't have many words. I have so many lists in my head going on. I'm trying to keep track of it all. So, if you have any questions for me?
Well, just appreciate what you do. You will be a change in this community.
It's fun again. That's all I can say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sky High.
Good evening, council. It's been a while since I've been up here as well. So we are just going strong with events over at Sky High. Alcon is finishing up the last couple of weeks of their punch list items inside and outside of the building. So we're getting all of that extra material cleaned up, all the trash enclosures put together, all the good stuff. Excuse me. We are getting ready for the last Spring in the Valley Rodeo for this weekend, and just booking events every day. Events are our life right now, and that's all we're focusing on. I do want to say a huge thank you to our City of Monte Vista team. This last weekend when we had our very fun power outage, we had 3 events going on at Sky High at the same time. So I want to say a huge thank you to Rob and Nita coming over to bring over lights and a generator, our police department for helping us get all of that set up as well. It was a huge team effort trying to get that that event up and running so that they had some lights, which is very fun, and we learn something new every day. But other than that, we are just hitting the ground running. Starting in June, we, as of right now, have 18 events scheduled. Every single weekend we are booked with at least one, if not multiple, events going on. Any questions for us?
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
If a normal citizen wants to find out what events are going on, do you publish it somewhere?
We are working on a public calendar for public events. A lot of our events are private events, so we don't announce those. But we are in the process of putting together a public calendar for all of our events that are open to the public. Yes.
Have you established a website yet for this kind of?
We're working on it. We do have our website attached to the City Hall or the City of Monte Vista website. That is a work in progress. We are getting updates up there as quickly as we can.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
You stay very calm and patient when all that power went out. You're doing great. City Attorney.
Mayor, council, citizens, I will be addressing a few things to citizens, and after that nice plaque, you may take it back after I'm done. I don't know. But this is my last report here, and it's, I guess I'm going to miss a lot of the folks here, the staff, people that I've worked with after, for the last 4.5 years, and believe I did a very good job for the city. Born and raised here, and so my interests are the city of Monte Vista and doing what's best for them. The council has decided by a 3-2 vote to hire Gene Farish. And again, I want to say to the staff, Gigi, I appreciate working with you, Nita, Rob, Chief Dingfelder, and Judge Zollers. And for the council that supported me, I appreciate that a bunch. I have been disappointed by the process, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I found myself applying for a job that I'd been doing for 4.5 years. And so it is with mixed emotions, I think, that I leave here. I am actually very proud of my representation of the city. I think a lot of things have gone well. The highlight really being the Sky High Event Center. I think that is going to put Monte on the map, and I spent countless hours working through that process with attorneys, bankers, city manager, and all the folks. It was really a community effort, though, and that's the nice I'm going to be able to tell the council, and you've got the auditor coming, or the council, and you've got the auditor coming, I guess, next week, but I'm going to leave the council and the city's legal department in great shape, I believe. The courts are going well. We are not spending tons of money as had been previously been spent. There is no litigation pending, and Mr. Farish will get the legal department, I think, in pretty good shape. When I started 4.5 years ago, I tried to advise the council during the interview process, how things had gone and what the problems that I took over 4.5 years ago. There was a temporary attorney, Karen Lichtog. She had been the city attorney for about 5-6 months or so. But the problems that I saw, I think the citizens should be aware of, and certainly I tried to make this council aware of the problems that had been going on. And I think basically they didn't think those problems were too important. But the problems had been created over a period of time, several years. And the first problem that I dealt with really was the court system. Judge Powell had been the judge here for several years. He was the judge in Alamosa. Gene Farish was the city prosecutor in Alamosa, and he was a city attorney in Monte Vista. And over those several years, if you read the report with the ACLU did, Justice Derailed, abuses going on by this judge were, I mean, this organization, ACLU, doesn't do Alamosa small town stuff. They're a national organization. But things were so bad, they did a report here. There were folks that their constitutional rights were getting abused, people getting put in jail, could not afford to get out, excessive jail time for minor offenses, excessive bonds, failure to appoint counsel when required. Now, after several years of dealing with a judge, you know if that judge is doing something wrong. And if I saw that our judge was doing something wrong, I think I would have a duty to speak up and let this council know. That never happened here. The council found out, Monte Vista and Alamosa found out at the exact time that it hit the newspapers and the TV stations. Well, the legal folks in the community, they knew there was something going on with this report. I guess I don't understand why it wasn't made, or why the councils were not made aware of that. But, you know, Dan Powell was the judge up there getting paid by Alamosa, so's Gene, he's getting paid here, so's Dan. It's a bit of a sweetheart deal, in my opinion. But those kind of abuses that went on with citizens here, somebody should have stood up. I think it's the job of the city attorney to do that. And when abuses go unchecked, it creates a culture of it's okay to violate people's rights. And over the years, in my opinion, the judge was abusing people and nobody saying anything about it. And if you're not speaking up, I guess you're part of the problem. But the next step, if people are getting their rights abused, then the police think it's okay too. And right now, I think we've got a great bunch of officers. I see them doing good reports in the courts, and I think you got a good crew. And you got a good chief. I don't think you had that back in the day. And the police are really the biggest liability for the city. Right now, we haven't had much litigation since the last few years here. But when I got in, after Gene was terminated by the prior council, there was 3 or 4 different lawsuits. Cost the city of Monte Vista over $350,000 to settle all those cases. Is that a big deal? I guess not, because nobody thought, some of the members of this council did not apparently think that was a big deal, but that's citizens' money that could have been used to buy equipment, used somewhere else, and it took us a couple years to get all that litigation settled. And I'm not saying that if somebody files a suit, it's the city attorney's fault, but when that culture is created within the system over several years, it's your watch. You got to pay attention. And you say, okay, well, the insurance company paid for those losses. Well, yeah, to some degree, that's true. But then they charge us until they get their money back. So we've been paying over $100,000 a year to CIRSA for those, to pay for that litigation. So we're paying for it. The citizens of Monte Vista are paying for it. And so that's how I found the department. It took couple of years to clean it all up. The city courts were, in the city of Monte Vista, were paying $40,000 to $50,000 in jail fees and legal defense fees. Since Judge Zollers and I have cleaned up that mess, we're paying sometimes $500 up to $1,000 a year. And most of the stuff that comes in our courts is minor stuff. Shoplifting. Some of the sentences that were being imposed by Judge Powell were excessive and crazy. I mean, and every time you put somebody in jail, you pay $50, $60 a day for their time, if it's a case that develops here. So from $50,000 to $60,000 from when Gene and Dan Powell were in there, we're paying $500 to $1,000 now. We have no litigation pending. We have decriminalized minor offenses in the court. We've had a circle program we use where we take young offenders and run them through a program and then clean up their record. We have community service where folks that can't afford to pay a fine, we put them to work in the community and they pay off their debt to society that way. And the bonds we set are not excessive. We don't put people in jail if they can't pay their fines and their costs. So I guess what I'm a little bit upset about is the process that took place. I think that typically I want the citizens to know that as I view it, it's not a job performance issue, because in all the years, 4.5 years I've been here, I've not heard one issue from any individual council member or the council as a whole regarding my job performance. Now, as the council, the city attorney serves at the pleasure of the board, I get that. And I guess if you don't like the way I comb my hair, you can replace me. And, I think that, I guess it's going to be up to the citizens whether this is a good move or not, but I wasn't excited about the process of, citizens don't get to know what's going on, what's on your mind, why you think you should be in this position. because it was in executive session, and I guess that's okay. I think it should be out here in the public, where people can listen and decide what's going on. And the process started out with one interview. Then the council decided to do a second interview. Councilman Foster and Lawrence didn't show up to that second interview, yet they're voting. Don't think that's cool. And, you know, Councilman Lawrence has been on for 5-6 months here. I think he was part of the council that terminated Gene. And now he's part of the council that's putting him back. Which, you know, I kind of get politics can be what it can be. But I think one should really be consistent, stand up for what you believe. I'm good with that. But I think be consistent. And, you know, I certainly wish the council, you know, the best of luck here. I really think that, you know, when something isn't broke, you don't fix it. But anyway, I appreciate being able to represent the city for the time I've been here. And I appreciate working for the citizens, because that's ultimately who the city attorney works for. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. City manager?
Thank you, council. First of all, a little bit of a fire update. Hats off to Rob. He has just spent countless hours assessing the damage and seeing how do we, what properties are we going to be cleaning up, and working with the contractors and getting them lined up, and like I said, meeting with the families. We've held 2 public meetings that I believe all of you have attended, and they've gone well. People are still emotional. This is a horrible tragedy for those individuals as well as for our community. I've talked to Rio Grande County, and 3 of the lots that had damage are in the county. And so they have said that they will help cover the costs of the damage, any damage that needed to be cleaned up that was on the county side. And then right now the city is absorbing whatever costs will be incurred on those other properties, less any insurance that some of them may have had, but that's not a very bright picture right now. The Monte Vista Community Fund Board has put out a notice that they would like to meet with the fire victims. That's going to take place on May the 23rd. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to speak for the board. But my recommendation is that this is not a city meeting and that you shouldn't be there. So, but on a more positive note, I think that we need to, I still haven't quite figured out how we celebrate and thank all of these other community volunteer fire departments and the EMTs and the medical staff and the businesses and the citizens. We've been trying to compile a list, and it's just so long. You know, the state help and the Department of Social Services, all of these folks that have come through and identified themselves as helping us kind of work through this last month. And so I'm not sure if we're going to do some sort of something just simple as a big thank you within a certificate, I don't know how we corral everybody to do something bigger than that, or if we at least invite the fire chiefs. It's kind of a long way for some of these people to go, and of course they're battling other fires as well. But I think it's important that the city extend a thank you to all of these folks, men and women alike. The Nazarene Church is holding their Sunday service and kind of in honor of the Monte Vista employees and city council. So if any of our employees or any council wants to go, Mass is at 10 o'clock. And then they are going to be following it up with a little luncheon fundraiser for the victims. Any question about the fire? Okay. I talked a little bit earlier about grants. And Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Bennett put out a notice that they were accepting earmarks to the budget. So I submitted one, and what they asked for is a generator for Sky High. I think last Saturday, the stress on Stephanie, me calling Excel, everybody, sending good vibes, shows the need. I mean, she hosted the largest dinner that we've had there at this point of over 300 people in one room, and then another separate party in another room. And it was a little bit hair-raising there for a couple of hours, but the lights did come back on. But back to the earmark. So in the earmark, if we're going to be using Sky High as an official emergency shelter, we ask for the generator. We ask for 18 RV spaces, because if anybody remembers a few years back when we had to clear out Fun Valley, some of those RVs came to Monte Vista and they parked in the parking lot, but there were no services. So we've asked to be able to provide some services as well as 4 portable showers. I heard from Senator, and so the cost that we submitted was a little over $1.1 million. We thought that it was 100%, and I got a little note this week saying it's only 75%. So if it's funded, we would get from the feds $827,000 and some change. And so our portion would be $275,000 and some change. So I'm already, I just feel really confident, as sad as it is, the fire tragedy may help us elevate this as far as a need for our community. And so I'm already thinking, okay, where can I go to get that other $275,000 matched? We're always chasing dollars. So we ought to know by the first, I think early in June, we're going to know if that is put on the budget or not. Seeing Anika here reminded me, we're also looking for about $65,000 to $70,000 for building needs air conditioning. It's kind of sad when she says that it's warmer inside the building than it is outside, and outside is 80 degrees and you've got a lot of kids running around and body heat and energy, and so I'm still working on that, Anika. Have you all seen the mural downtown?
Yes.
Looks pretty cool. That was done, taken on by a newcomer in the community who found the artist and paid for that to be done. It's out of compliance, so we're gonna paint it over. Not really, not really. But it is out of compliance with our sign ordinance. So Anita is or Nita is working on updating something quickly so we can get this done. Because the next phase of it is they have another really cool emblem. The lady found a 1929 poster, a sky high, and so they want to put that on Jenna Ford's building there at the corner. That would be the big white wall of what used to be Dean's Laundry, so the back of the Facet parking lot. So hoping to get that done by Stampede time. And then she's got another beautiful one. So she's found, I believe, 2 funders to pay for the Stampede one. We're working with her to proceed and to make amendments to our city code so that it's taken care of, and maybe how these things are reviewed, and make sure that they are tasteful and complement our community and not something that we would not be proud of to have on there. So it's nice to have something positive for the city that somebody else is just taking and running with and hasn't asked really anything of Rob or Stephanie or Anita or the police department or Nita. So our thanks to those folks. Let's see what else. We did have a celebration here at the office yesterday, recognizing all of our employees and in result of the resolutions that came this week. Besides the police, public works, the teachers, the clerks, what do you call it? Administrative day, that was the end of April. So we had everybody in for a nice pizza party. And finally, we have the Sonora Institute is putting on, they're working with Adams State College and putting on a water workshop. And they are putting together 6 teams, or have put together 6 teams. And so I put together the Rio Grande County team. And so there's going to be 3 of us from city staff that will be attending, along with 2 from South Fork, 2 from the county, and then they threw in kind of an oddball one. Del Norte couldn't commit, and they didn't want the sizes too big. But anyway, it'll be a half a day, a whole day, and then a half a day. And so Rob and I will miss the ribbon cutting for the Tierra del Sol. And what they are going to teach us, or what they want people to begin to think about, is our use of water. And how do we build sensible water sensible water growth in your community. Do your planning and zoning look kind of water friendly or water smart friendly for your community as people are looking at building new homes, or as we build parks, how do you adjust with water? So anyway, we'll go and learn and see if anything we think kind of fits our community and what we want to do, and bring it forward and see how it looks.
Very good.
Okay, so that's it. Any questions?
What have you been doing in your free time?
Try to sleep. I'm either going to kill Rob first, or I'm going to kill myself first.
Y'all heard it first.
Appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council committee, city commission, and council reports. Mr. Foster.
It's good to be back in a land that has running water in everybody's house and electricity. And it was a good trip, but the conditions were challenging indeed. But it is good to be back. There's been much discussion tonight about the city attorney situation. I stand by my vote. If you want to talk to me about that in private, I will be more than happy to discuss why I did what I did. And there are certain personnel things that cannot be discussed. And that's probably one reason why a lot of this was handled in executive session, is because when you discuss personnel issues, there are certain things you can and cannot say. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Victor?
I don't really have a whole lot. I do have just maybe a question or about the parking area. Was just curious if there was something that can be put up on the north side of that park, because there's cars that are parking in right next to the picnic tables.
Which park again?
Right there in Lariat.
Okay.
Yeah. I just I pass by there because I pass by all the time, going home, and I'm like, some of these people are parked all the way in there, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not good. So anyways.
We will try, we can extend that pipe fence up to the end of the property. I don't know what we can do with the private property that borders that part. But we might do something. I'll look at it and see, but we'll definitely extend our pipe fences.
I wonder if even a
Sign maybe.
or even some wood stumps, just or cones or something. Thank you.
Mr. Lorenz?
I'm excited to be moving forward with our team. That's all I have.
All right. Well, you leave it all up to me. So, hope you all get comfy because I'm gonna make you stay here a while. No, just kidding. There's been a lot going on in this community in the last month, and it's been trying for a lot of people who lost everything they had. I'm going to stay above the line. We're going to talk about the positivity. What this community has done to come together, and I'm talking the whole San Luis Valley, to come together because of this fire has been incredible. I've caught little bits and tidbits of what has gone on, and I'm going to just leave the negativity on the low side and stay on the high side. All I'm going to say is Monty Strong. This community has put it together through all the stuff. And I absolutely respect this community for it. It makes me proud to be in this seat. So, with that, I'm going to leave it as Monty Strong, and we will adjourn this meeting to June 2nd, 6 p.m. Same place, same time. Look forward to seeing you all here.